And hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. And thank you for taking the time today to listen in. As Leah mentioned, my name is Anand Mishra, and I'm in product marketing here at NetSuite, and I will be moderating today's session. But before we dive in, I would just like to spend a couple of seconds to talk about why this is an important topic. So if you're tired and struggling with a hairball of aging business systems, juggling separate software applications, and essentially wasting time and resources maintaining and upgrading these legacy systems, not to mention avoiding the unproductive and manual work that is generally inherent with disparate business applications, stay tuned. In the next hour, you will hear from an IT executive who will share his insights into the challenges his organization faced running Great Plains and the benefits they have gained by migrating to NetSuite. You will also see a demo of NetSuite's rich feature functionality, such as built-in multi-subsidiary management and financial consolidation that provides real-time financial and operational visibility and a system that can be customized and implemented easily without upgrade hassles. So here is the agenda for today. I will provide an overview of the current trends in cloud computing and my take on how Microsoft Great Plains could be hampering your business growth. I will also discuss how we believe a cloud-based solution like NetSuite can help you replace Great Plains with a more robust, reliable, and cost-effective solution which will help you truly accelerate the growth of your business. After that, I will kick off our panel discussion, during which we will talk about specific decisions that our panelists made about moving to Great Plains and actually moving from Great Plains to NetSuite and how it's impacted his organization. We will also hear his advice to you and then see the product in action. And finally, we will wrap up with a Q&A during which we will respond to your questions. And like Leah mentioned, if you have any questions during the presentation, please use the chat session and we will address them after the demo. And if we don't get to the questions, please be assured that someone from NetSuite will get back to you. So let's get started. So here are the speakers for the session. Kevin Harding has been the Director of Information Technology with Imagine since 2002. Imagine is a Colorado-based private not-for-profit organization that provides support for people who have intellectual and developmental disabilities. When Imagine first opened its doors in 1963, it served 100 consumers. Now, 51 years later, they're serving more than 2,850 people and their families each year. Kevin's association with Imagine began 23 years ago when he provided information system support and repair while working for a computer sales and service company in Boulder, Colorado. Kevin has a degree in science and background in electrical engineering. Welcome, Kevin. And in the center is Karthik Pasumarthy, who will demo NetSuite today. And as a team lead and vertical marketing expert at NetSuite, Karthik adds significant value as a trusted advisor to prospects and customers during the evaluation process. Over the last 14 years prior to NetSuite, Karthik has helped hundreds of small, medium, and large enterprises in designing, deploying complete ERP and CRM solutions across the globe. His experience ranges from being a business analyst to a project manager, a solution developer, a VP, and a CEO for various system integrators. Karthik is a chartered accountant and holds a bachelor's degree in accounting. Karthik also has a PMP certification. Welcome, Karthik. And the last guy on your screens, the serious-looking one, not by design, is actually me, Anand Mishra. I'm in product marketing here with NetSuite, and I manage our customer marketing programs and other marketing initiatives. I have over 13 years of experience in product marketing and product management at various companies such as ADP, Thomson Reuters, Wolters Kluwer Financial Services, and I have a bachelor's in biology and an MBA in finance. Here's a quick overview of who we are. NetSuite is the world's leading provider of cloud-based business management software. NetSuite helps companies manage core business processes with a single, fully integrated system covering ERP, financials, CRM, e-commerce, inventory, and a lot more. We serve over 20,000 companies and subsidiaries and are the fastest growing top 10 ERP system globally. We are publicly traded, and we had revenues of over $414 million last year, a 34% growth over 2012. As you can see, listed are some of the organizations that leverage the power of NetSuite's cloud-based ERP to run their businesses worldwide. And these organizations range from small to mid-sized businesses to large multinationals and their subsidiaries. So in this slide, I would like to share some of the recent or the current trends in cloud computing and its impact on businesses of all sizes. As you all can see, cloud momentum is accelerating. It's impossible to have a conversation these days without talking about cloud computing directly or indirectly. Whether it's a movie rental, think Netflix, storing documents and sharing files, Box, Google Drive come to mind, music, Amazon Cloud Drive, and Apple iCloud are good examples, or business solutions, NetSuite and Salesforce.com are good examples. It's all about the cloud. In a tough economic environment and ever-changing expectations, business leaders such as yourselves are required to deliver outcomes faster and cheaper with fewer resources. And for businesses of all sizes, cloud represents a tremendous opportunity, and it's a de facto standard for doing business these days. Cloud is here to stay and represents an opportunity to change the way we do business. So here is another interesting example of cloud adoption. Last year, the Cloud Accounting Institute conducted a national survey of financial and accounting professionals. The questions they basically asked related to their current and planned use of cloud solutions. And it's interesting to note that over 80% were favorable in their intention to use a cloud-based accounting solution in the future. The same study showed that cloud use increased a dramatic 44% from 2012 to 2013. Another interesting finding, and which is very relevant to today's audience, is that although on-premise and cloud solutions will coexist, the on-premise model has lost its dominance, even in the novelty-resistant accounting field. So based on the last couple of slides, it's not surprising that cloud is gaining momentum. Forrester, an independent research firm, identified the hidden cost of on-premise ERP and concluded that you could end up paying 5 times the cost of license in just implementing on-premise ERP. The total cost of hardware, middleware, software, implementation, and database licenses adds up to a significant investment without actually realizing the benefits for a very long time. Moreover, if you have an on-premise ERP, it's highly likely that your software is version locked. Based on the numbers from Aberdeen Group, 66% of you could be running on old versions of financials and probably avoiding the daunting and expensive upgrade task. In most cases, companies are 4 to 5 versions behind in upgrading. Gartner, another research firm, found that 90% of the IT budget with on-premise systems is spent on maintenance and administration alone. Traditional ERP systems are also fragmented. For example, if you take Great Plains, it is just one part of your business, but you may have other systems deployed for support, sales, warehousing, e-commerce, and professional services. Also, since cash processes, procurement processes, etc., are running on different systems, reporting on key metrics in real time and getting a 360-degree view of customers or anything, if not impossible, is probably very difficult. So having provided a bit of context in terms of the trends, the key question still remains, why can't we still do all this? Generally, investing in business software solution and automation was supposed to help and not be the obstacle. And from your perspective, it is difficult, if not impossible, to foresee the demands a growing business can place on your business software. And now suddenly, you're dealing with multiple systems that don't talk to each other. You have little or no visibility into growing business with different versions of your data. You cannot track mission-critical processes such as lead to cash, procure to pay, and IT costs are creeping up just to integrate and maintain multiple solutions. So how did we get here? Normally, companies automate each business processes on a per-need basis. They may start with Great Plains or QuickBooks for financials, add ACT or Goldmine for CRM, and export data and consolidate in Excel for reporting. And the idea is, after investing in technology, we should be able to run the business more efficiently and get the needed insight to make decisions. The result, in fact, is just the opposite. The main reason for not able to get insight is due to automation. Organizations end up automating their business processes with best intentions, but few live up to expectations. What they provide instead is disruption. And talking about disruptions, despite best laid plans, companies end up with this. As the graphic shows, it grows into an application's hairball over time. Because most businesses are running multiple point systems for financial, sales, inventory, support, website, they're burdened with manual tasks and bottlenecks. So as you consider your options, one of the most important decisions you'll need to make is whether to select a cloud-based ERP or one that is installed locally or even hosted. On-premise ERP systems usually require large upfront and ongoing investments to purchase and manage the software and the related hardware, servers, facilities, and et cetera that are required to run it. If your company doesn't have a large or experienced IT staff, you may also have to invest more time and money in additional personnel and train them. For a cloud-based ERP, on the other hand, initial costs are typically much lower because you simply implement the software to your requirements and then access it through the internet connection. The cloud ERP provider essentially hosts and maintains all of the IT infrastructure, ensures that the system is always up and running, the data is secure, and that product enhancements are rolled out painlessly without breaking your customizations. All this allows your IT to focus on innovating and helping grow the business more effectively rather than spending time on maintaining and managing your on-premise systems. Cloud ERP also offers a predictable pay-as-you-go subscription model that can make cash flow management planning much easier. So based on talking to our customers, here are some of the main reasons why we see companies leave Great Plains for NetSuite. Lacks integrated suite that streamlines business processes. Now, Microsoft Great Plains forces companies to manage their business on separate on-premise software packages, one for accounting, one for Salesforce management, one for e-commerce, one for service management, maybe one for warehousing, an approach that requires costly integration to get them to work together. In addition, patching the products together can result in multiple islands of data and expensive integration projects that often do not work the way you want them to. Lacks real-time financial and operational visibility. With deployment of different systems in conjunction with Great Plains, your business data is often spread across multiple departments, resulting in lack of real-time visibility across key metrics needed to optimize your business operations. Higher total cost of ownership. Microsoft Dynamics GP can prove to be an expensive and time-consuming business solution, both in the short and long term. Customers pay large upfront fees for software and implementation, but the costs don't just end up there. Many of our customers who have switched tell us that escalating costs and complexity of running their business systems using Great Plains was a key reason for their defection to NetSuite. For example, Great Plains requires that you manage hardware, servers, databases, etc., in addition to upgrading, troubleshooting, and maintaining the applications. That's unless you want to pay a third party even more to try and manage it for you. Difficult to implement, customize, maintain, and use the system. Today's rendition of Great Plains was built on the foundation of a product designed and released 21 years ago before the launch of Microsoft Internet Explorer. A Great Plains implementation can cost 1 to 1.5 times the purchase price of the software itself, or even more in many cases. It can become hard to upgrade with Great Plains when dealing with customizations specific to your business and integrations with other solutions, and add to the resource problem required to maintain it as well. No real-time multi-subsidiary management and financial consolidation. Great Plains actually can consolidate multinational financial information for the month-end reporting if and only if you run separate Great Plains accounts and use external reporting tools, but that's about it. And you will see shortly when Karthik demos the solution, NetSuite's rich feature functionality and the ease with which it can be customized. So the reason you may want to consider a suite-based solution like NetSuite is because business suites can streamline key business processes such as lead to cash and procure to pay and centralize key business information. Companies can easily manage multiple subsidiaries, business units, and legal entities all from a single cloud-based system, while seamlessly handling different currencies, taxation rules, and reporting requirements on a single platform. You can not only improve business efficiency, but also enable overall business across different areas such as sales, finance, service, and fulfillment to do more with less. Everyone within the organization has access to the same data based on the role profiles. You can extend the model to include your customers, vendors, and partners as well. And we will hear shortly from Kevin on how Imagine transitioned from Great Plains to NetSuite and realize the benefits. Another big advantage that cloud-based solution like NetSuite provides is enabling your employees if they want to work from the office, while traveling, from home, and from a device of their choice. Since it's a 100% web-based solution, all they need is a browser. So in highlighting the benefits of a true cloud solution, I would also like to caution on what you are being sold. There are plenty of vendors who are selling the same old software from the 90s and calling it cloud-based. An on-premise solution running in a data center, accessible via the internet connection, is not the same as multi-tenant true cloud solution. Many ERP systems that are billed as running in the cloud were designed actually to run on-premise. These vendors typically do not host, manage, or at least maintain the cloud ERP solutions. Instead, they turn the responsibility over to a local value-added reseller, a VAR, or other service provider. When your on-premise solution is hosted by others, you still have to suffer through the same potentially difficult and expensive upgrades every time the software vendor releases a new version of its product. And there is no guarantee that the upgrade will not break any customizations or third-party integrations that you may have built. So here is what some of our customers are saying after switching from Great Plains. According to John Felt, who is the CIO of Advocacy Center, a private nonprofit corporation, NetSuite is better in every way. According to Doug Muir, who is the controller of Knightsbridge, a human capital solutions firm that was using Microsoft Dynamics NAV system but had outgrown its capabilities, NetSuite by far has provided us the best solution. Karen Deutschler, the president of GUHDO USA, a manufacturing company who were on Great Plains for 20 years, says, NetSuite does a fantastic job and since going live on NetSuite, we have never looked back. NetSuite has been a valuable addition to his company and makes his life a lot easier, according to Troy Watson at Makeup Designery, a company that provides education in craft of makeup. And here is a list of customers who have switched from Microsoft Great Plains to NetSuite. And this is just a sample, and we have hundreds of organizations in all verticals who have switched. With that, I would now like to invite Kevin Harding, who is the director of Imagine IT. And Kevin, could you please provide an overview of your company?
Sure. Thanks, Anand. Welcome, everybody. As Anand said earlier, Imagine is a private not-for-profit. We're here in Colorado, and we just celebrated our 50th anniversary last year, actually. We serve about 2,850 people a year. Some of those come through our doors and get transitioned out, but most of them, once we provide services to people, they're in our system unless they move or pass away. We have about 525 employees currently, full and part-time. We work with a number of service providers in the area to provide services. And when we provide services, if you had a son or daughter that, say, had Down syndrome, you would come to us and we would provide the case management, which is kind of, you can think of it as social work. And then there are certain services that you can get, whether it's 24-hour residential care or what we call supported living services, where people may live on their own, have their own job, and we just check in on them once a week. And then we also do what's called early intervention services for children that involve speech therapy and occupational therapy. Our operating budget this year is about $31 million. Most of that is from Medicaid reimbursement. We do have a contract with the state of Colorado to provide services, but we also do a lot of local fundraising, and we have local funds that come in from the counties and cities. We replaced Great Plains about 5 years ago in 2007. Longer than that now, quite a while ago. And we've actually been using NetSuite since 2002, and we started using it with CRM. Back in 2007, we were looking for a switch on our system to bring our financials and our social work and our CRM components together. It came down to staying with Great Plains and upgrading, or staying with NetSuite since we were on both platforms at the time, and moving financials over to NetSuite, and we chose NetSuite.
Thank you, Kevin. And Kevin, moving on to the panel discussion, basically. So what were the key challenges you were facing with Great Plains?
Back then, the biggest challenges we were facing, we weren't getting good HR information out of Great Plains. We also didn't have a up-to-date or an up-to-minute real-time reporting for people that were out in the field. Most of our people are away from a main facility. So we have supervisors that have laptops. We have people in the field that need to make notes. We were using Excel and Word files. We basically went from a paper documentation system looking for something that we could do electronically. With people being out in the field, we decided to kind of skip the whole VPN or terminal services model and go with the SaaS model, recognizing early on that cloud computing and cloud access is going to be the way things go. Our people are very independent, and they want to be able to do everything from just a web browser. So the easiest way was to look for applications that supported that model. We were using a third party, as you mentioned earlier, we're using a third-party reporting software to do the roll-ups every month and get our financial and budgetary information out to our supervisors, and that would happen sometime the following month. So for 30, 45 days, supervisors and decision makers in the company didn't know where they stood, budget-wise. They only had figures from 45, 60 days ago. So we were looking for something that would real-time and make that information a little accessible. Plus, it would bring together the CRM system we'd been using in-house, the paper system we'd been using in-house, and financials into one system that'd be easily accessed by everybody.
Kevin, based on our conversation earlier, you also talked about customization and the cost issues related to Great Plains. Could you touch briefly on that as well?
Absolutely. We use NetSuite, and I guess you could say it's heavily customized. We're in the healthcare industry, so we don't sell widgets. We sell services, and we track services. The customization that was going to be needed on Great Plains, we were actually working with a third-party company that had a product that sat on top of Great Plains Dynamics and provided us with the type of social work tracking that we needed to run our business. Great Plains can do that natively, so we didn't need a third-party add-on. In fact, probably 70 to 80% of what we use in NetSuite is customized. Some customization that we've done, whether it's just the addition of a field. We use several customized forms. It was the customization that we were going to have to do on Great Plains was heavy, and it would probably have required some external expertise. And we still needed the heavy customization in NetSuite, but we've been able to do all that in-house.
Thanks, Kevin. Moving on to the next question, or a set of questions, I should say. Why did you decide to go with a cloud model? Why a suite-based approach? And what were some of your key evaluation criteria in selecting NetSuite?
Again, as I mentioned earlier, we have a diverse and disparate workforce. People are not always at a central location, or if they are, it's probably not their home base. So if they have internet access, we needed them to be able to get their job done. We wanted something that was browser-based. That way the infrastructure is somewhere else and SaaS-based, so we didn't have to build up the infrastructure on our side, increasing bandwidth to our systems, providing more servers, putting in terminal services. We didn't want to increase the infrastructure on our side. We wanted to stick with the SaaS model. And the suite was kind of a no-brainer. It just kind of brings everything together. It's kind of funny. When we started using NetSuite back in 2002, it was actually our service departments that were using it for service tracking, and the financials actually meant nothing. We were taking the financials out of NetSuite and hand inputting the balances into Great Plains at the time. So at the time, we made the switch from Great Plains to NetSuite, we had huge balances that just meant absolutely nothing from a financial standpoint. Great Plains wasn't going to give us the service tracking that we needed, and NetSuite seemed to be the best way to go, and it has been the best way to go. So the suite brings all those together. Now we've got a complete service delivery to bill payment and invoicing and reporting capability all streamlined in one suite. And our key evaluation criteria was, being a not-for-profit, it always comes down to cost. We always are very cost-conscious of how we spend the money that we bring in. We have about a 7 or 8% overhead, which means 93 cents of every dollar we bring in goes back out to the community, and we're very proud of that. So cost was a big factor, and also the reputation of the company. Obviously, Microsoft and Dynamics have been around for a while. NetSuite was up and coming. We heard several good things about it, and we liked the trajectory that they were on. And the expandability, just the ability for us to customize and have the system grow and scale with our business has been wonderful. We've been able to do 95, 99% of the customizations that need to be done in-house. In fact, for the first 7 or 8 years we were using NetSuite, we didn't even have a support contract. We were handling everything in-house. It wasn't until we went to financials that we decided to get a support contract. So those are some of the big things. Cost is always a big thing. Infrastructure and supporting that infrastructure on premise, and then the ease of customization and the ability to do that in-house instead of hiring either professional services or a third-party vendor.
Thanks, Kevin. And now that you've been running in the cloud for a while now, what are some of the benefits of moving to the cloud?
The biggest benefits are being able to get the up-to-date, accurate information anywhere. So it doesn't matter where my employees are. They're able to access the reports that they need. They're able to input the information that they need. We have people that deliver services and then need to put in service delivery notes, and they can do that from anywhere. They can do it from their laptop at the coffee shop, or once they get back to a home base, if they have one, they can sit down on the terminal and input that in. Also, not having the infrastructure on our side to support has been great. I'm actually decommissioning servers. We're not adding servers at our location. We're taking servers out, and that's been a great plus. And just from experience, the upgrade process in Dynamics was always a weekend-long thing that I just hated doing. And with NetSuite handling the upgrades, we do preliminary testing in the sandbox. We found any problems that might come up when they do the new upgrade. We get those addressed. And then the past couple upgrades, in fact, we just went through a version upgrade a couple weeks ago, went fine. We didn't have any problems with it. So from keeping version current instead of being back 2 or 3 years on versions has been great, and those are the biggest benefits that we've seen.
Thanks, Kevin. Kevin, during the last conversation, you had mentioned about how you were impacted by the flooding in Colorado in September, and about how you didn't have to worry about infrastructure and could get your information since it was a cloud-based system and keep on working. Brief comment on that?
We weren't impacted at our main sites, but all of our homes where we provide residential services where we have people that are in there on a 24/7 basis were impacted in some way. And we also had some people that weren't able to get to day program sites, but they were still able to access NetSuite. That was nice. And we had some people that couldn't get into work. They could log in from home and get whatever work they needed to get done, they could get done from home. So it was great having that SaaS model during that time. It really, and if it happened again and it was impacting some of our main offices, we still would be okay because we have all that up in NetSuite.
Cool. And Kevin, in terms of the best practices, what's your advice for anyone looking to make the switch?
That's a loaded question, Anand.
That's my job.
As I mentioned, we pretty much went about it backwards by implementing the CRM and then adding financials later. If I had to do it all over again and I was not invested in NetSuite, I was only on one application, I would definitely start with financials, and then you can build from there. And then definitely take it department by department. So, add financials, get the business department up to speed, because even though most of what we use in NetSuite has been customized, what we use in the financial side is pretty much the core NetSuite product. And NetSuite has got a great cadre of training, whether it's a webinar or whether it's a video you can download, or if they need to come out and do the training themselves. And the business office and the financial office is kind of the low-hanging fruit to get them up to speed. That way you've got all your vendors in, your employees in, and then you can kind of build and expand from that. That's the way I would do it, having done it completely backwards already. And I can't emphasize enough on training and setting up dashboards that are role-based. Just going into NetSuite with it wide open is pretty overwhelming. There's a lot of information presented, and it doesn't have to be that way. So understanding a person's business function and their job role and customizing their NetSuite experience and their dashboard just to that job makes it so much easier for them to navigate and get done what they need to get done. And NetSuite makes that very easy to do.
Thank you, Kevin, for providing valuable insights to our audience, essentially. And I would actually now like to hand it over to Karthik, our solution expert, for the demo of the solution. Karthik, take it away.
Thank you, Anand. Excellent. Okay, what I want to do today is introduce you to NetSuite if you have not already seen it. But the main objective would be focus on three main things. One is I'd like to talk to you about our dashboards, our real-time capability, drill down, configurability, and then kind of get into a workflow where we start off with an opportunity, get into an estimate situation, convert that into an order, build that, see the GL impact, so kind of go through like lead to cash process or opportunity to cash process. And then I would like to spend some time on financial consolidation and period close. And if time permits, I'll show you how quickly you can customize NetSuite, add a field, and how easy it is to start using those in the existing or new reports you can make. Okay, so without further ado, let me go ahead and you're seeing the NetSuite application. It's browser agnostic. I'm using Firefox, but you can do Chrome or Internet Explorer or any other browser you need. It's very secure, same security as the banking software or online logins. Right now, I'm logged in as a CFO at the headquarter level. It's role-based, so every user, email and password would be provided to a user, and they'll be assigned roles. And those roles will have permissions. And for demo purposes, I normally assign myself a lot of roles so I can show a lot of functionality. But typically, in your organization, you'll have one or two roles depending on how many hats you're wearing. So right now, I'm at the CFO at the headquarter level where I have multiple subsidiaries all over the world, regional, Asia Pacific, EMEA, and Latin America. And the subsidiary structure laid out in the system is as you see on the screen. You've got headquarters, you've got regional level, and then you've got the countries and then subsidiaries under that, right? So with the real-time dashboard with NetSuite, as soon as you log into the system, you're looking at the screen. As a CFO, I'm looking at the screen. At any point of time, I'm looking at these revenue numbers, the KPIs, the profit. I'm looking at my AR aging, cash flow. I'm having access to all those reports out of the box 170 plus standard reports. Some of those reports which are important to me, I'm able to put them on my dashboard itself. At any point of time, I can click on, if I'm interested in United Kingdom, in my subsidiary structure, I just click on that button, and immediately you'll see all the things on my dashboard, my corporates in AR aging, my net cash flow, my KPIs, what is the revenue in UK, it immediately changes, right? So that is the power of NetSuite with respect to how you bubble your information for transactions which are happening real time. So say suppose in UK an invoice gets posted like 5 minutes ago or 2 minutes ago, It's rolled up to the top automatically to your dashboard. And not only can you see it in a specific UK level, but you can always, just by click of a button, you're able to see that on the global level, at the headquarter level, in US dollars. So the translation is happening quite well. So that's one. Number two, when you say real time, are they drillable, right? Absolutely. You go into revenue and you say, hey, what is that revenue made of? Let me drill down, and it takes you to the income statement account. And you have these, abilities to kind of look at it by headquarter level, regional level, complete flexibility on how you want to look at your numbers. You can also break it down. Right now you're looking at total numbers. You can break it down by subsidiary architecture. And just by clicking a button, now you're seeing the same total number broken down by different subsidiaries and regional levels and actual subsidiaries in there. I don't stop there. I mean, at any point of time, NetSuite reports, you can export them to Excel, CSV, Word, PDF. You can email them, you can print them, of course, and you can even schedule them. So say suppose there's some report which you want to send to your board of directors or, CEO, periodically you can schedule that and the report automatically goes and the security goes with it. So you have complete security there. And by the way, when reports get exported to Excel, it carries all the formulas. So gross profit or subtotals or totals, those formulas go into Excel and you're able to see how those numbers came about. So let's not stop there. Let's drill further down into U.S. West subsidiary, see the transactions for that invoice. Now you're looking at transaction detail. Remember, you started off at the dashboard level, and now you're in the transaction detail for that GL account of software and license subscription, but you're not satisfied there. You further drill down to the actual invoice. So you see the power of drill down capability starting from the dashboard down to the transaction level. And ability to see the line item details is really powerful, right? So whether it's a CFO, controller, executives, they can look at information to the extent they need, summary level, detail level, or even at the transaction level, right? And of course, we have a global search, and actually this helps customers a lot. Like, hey, I just got back from a conference. I met a prospect. I think it's in the system because I just logged in through my browser and mobile phone and put that in there. But I just know the first part of it. It's something starting with Ultima. You can just type in your global search, and it brings in all those records, opportunities, projects, contacts, anything which is related to that string you entered in that global search, and you're able to go to that information pretty quickly, right? So it could be customer name, it could be invoice number, it could be vendor invoice number, anything you're looking for, whether it's a menu item or data, you're able to put that in your global search and get to that information. So now that I'm in this, customer record, this is a single place where you have all the information about customer and all the activities you're doing. You have all these sales activities, you have your contacts, your, all the meetings and, follow-ups you're doing, system notes. You've got your financial information as far as, quick aging and, what currencies you're dealing with, basic information. And of course, at any point of time, let's say for a reason you were searching for that customer that you wanted to make a phone call, you want to get a snapshot of that prospect or customer, you can just click on that dashboard icon on that customer, and this will give you, just like how a user has a dashboard, and if this was an existing customer with a lot of transactions, you'll be able to see their KPIs, right? Sales, what is their average days to pay, specific to Ultima technology, the customer, their meters, what are the items they're buying, what is the top items, the recent transactions, the recent activities, and of course, everything is configurable, right? You have the capability of personalizing the dashboard and adding content or removing content. So if I go back to my dashboard, as a CFO, I can always personalize dashboard, and you can do the same in the customer portlet too, and I'm able to go ahead and add different lists. Show me the shortcuts, which are the top to more things I'm using. Show me calendar, activities, custom search, right? You have the capability of adding these portlets to your dashboard, or you're able to move stuff around and completely configurable to your needs. Okay. One thing I do want to show before we get into the actual flow is the power of reporting. Of course, you see a lot of reports are available within NetSuite, and some of the reports which are most commonly used, you'll publish them onto your dashboard and use them. Obviously, you can also customize and create your own reports. In addition to that, NetSuite has inbuilt capability of queries called saved searches. So basically, saved searches are nothing but ability for a user, depending on their roles and permissions, are able to go into the application and query on a certain criteria and get the results they want. So let's take a simple example. I want to create a new saved search by just clicking that new saved search. And my criteria is I want to look at all customers. So you'll be given all the tables available in the system. I'll say I want the system to go to the customer record and find out all those customers whose balance is greater than 50,000. And I want the system to highlight the ones which are greater than $1 million. So I named the search as GP Switch Customer Search. If you want to share with other members in your company, you can make it public or you can keep it private. If you want the search to be available on your dashboard, you can select the dashboard view. If you want it to be a reminder where every time somebody's meeting this criteria, you want the system to notify you, you can do that. And now you have three things: criteria, results, and highlighting. Very simple. My criteria, as I told you, was I take any field on the customer record or related records, and I say, in this case, I choose balance, and it's greater than 50,000. That's my basic criteria, right? And imagine the applications of this. I mean, you can choose any field on the customer master or related to a customer master, ship-to addresses, customer transactions, sales team, anything you need. What do you want to see as a result? Well, I don't want all these fields. I just want to see the name of the customer. I want to see the balance, right? I know the names, of the fields, and so I'm just typing in. But, you can always look up the list. I want the phone number, and also I want the sales rep who is responsible for that. Those are the four fields I want to see. And then, finally, I would like to highlight the ones which, not all. I want to focus on customers whose balance is greater than $1 million before I get to 50,000. So I'll go in and say, okay, same balance criteria, but this time it's greater than $1 million, right? So I put that in there. I hope those numbers are $1 million. And then what I do is I say, hey, show, mark it with the red arrow, make it, text color is red, background is highlighting yellow. I mean, you cannot miss this, right? So you do that. So three things you did. You put criteria in there. You want to show the results. What are the columns you want to see? You want to highlight. And I'll come back to the others in a second. Let me save and run this thing. It took us less than, 3 minutes to create this search? Imagine the application of this. Now the system is providing me all those customers whose balance is greater than 50,000 and also highlighting those is more than $1 million. I could do all sales orders which have discount more than 30%. All purchase orders whose dollar amount is more than $10,000. Imagine the applications of this and the save searches. So that's not all. Once the save search is created, you can always export it to Excel, PDF, print it. And I promise I'll come back to this search one more time to kind of talk about what if you want to create a save search, you don't want it on your dashboard, you don't want to export to Excel, but you want to be notified that if somebody is meeting this criteria, you get an email. So you are able to set up that email alert to you that, hey, a customer has just met that criteria. So it's a dynamic search which is working on your database, and immediately if somebody meets that criteria, you're getting this email. You can also schedule it. Hey, don't do it real time, do it at the end of the month, end of the day, or end of the week, and you're able to go ahead and schedule that out. So that's save and run, and that search is available. That is quick and it's available. So what's the help of that? So if this month, if you're focusing on collections as a CFO or a controller, I can personalize my dashboard. I can bring in one of these custom searches, and I can say, hey, set up this search, and I can call this GP Switch search, and I put that in there, and you can see it's the same search. It's available right here. So 112 records are all there, and you can monitor those. You can minimize this if you don't want to see too much, but you can monitor those. And of course, if you drill down, you'll see the whole bunch of searches. Okay. So that's the power of save searches, and the applications of that is endless. And once you're done with collections for that month, maybe you focus on something else. You create another search and you use that. The second topic I wanted to talk about was the opportunity to cash process, right? So for that, let me just go into another role. Of course, I can go to a sales rep role. I could go to a controller role. Basically, the tabs you see on the top, right? They define. Like if I'm on the sales tab, you're basically seeing everything related to sales. That way, you're really controlling what is necessary for that person with that role to do their activities. For demo purposes, I've given myself all of these tabs, but typically you might have home, activities, and sales for that person, right? So here you'll see reminders. NetSuite has a workflow tool across all functional areas, right? So you can define reminders to drive that workflow process, sales orders to approve, sales orders to bill, opportunities to close. These are all the things which are important for a salesperson or a sales manager to focus on. In our example, of course, the dashboard you'll notice is different, right? You'll see the portlet is more driven, sales-driven. The customer statistics are sales-driven. The KPIs are sales-driven. So completely configurable to the user. So let me go ahead and create an opportunity. So by clicking the icon, I should be able to give them an opportunity record. And basically, we like the customer Ultima. We'll use that customer, or you can use a prospect. You can create a prospect on the fly, new or search for them. But to make it very simple, straightforward, I go ahead and choose the customer. And then in the bottom, you choose what are you trying to sell them. I've taken an example of licensed software. So I'll say I want to sell 100 licenses, but this could be inventory, non-inventory item. It could be, any SKUs you have. And then there's support you're selling on that, and it automatically calculates based on that license. The contract time is 12 months. If you want to put in any information, what is the status? Is it qualified? Any sales stage you have, you're able to handle. There's a complete CRM functionality available. You can go through the forecast type, whether it's omitted, is it, best case scenario, worst case scenario, upside, downside, you're able to go ahead and achieve that. So my opportunity is ready, right? And I'm able to go ahead and, enter information, add notes to this. I go through the sales cycle. I'm keeping activities on this. I send messages out, tasks, phone calls, events, user notes, and I can attach files. Now, that's a common functionality across all functional areas within NetSuite where you can attach files, and the file cabinet in the cloud gives you the flexibility to, to access them anywhere, right? So this opportunity, you go through a couple of cycles, and then you say, okay, the customer is ready to get an estimate. It's pretty easy. You push a button, and the information is transferred from the opportunity record to the estimate, right? And you don't have to re-enter the data anymore, right? It all moves in. Now the probability is 50%. Now you're kind of thinking, it's upside, right? Because we're in the estimate stage. You can decide, today is the starting date of the contract. The opportunity is linked to it, so you have complete audit trail of where this estimate came out of, and you can save and print this, right? And if there are any mandatory fields, the system will give you a warning, but if not, it will go ahead and save it. And of course, this printout is configurable to your requirements. What you're seeing is just a template of that estimate. Now the estimate is saved. It's linked to that opportunity, and you have a couple of choices, right? You go through negotiation, you attach documents, you go through, activities as we talked about, and then now you're like, I can convert this into a sales order for further billing or cash sale. One thing to note, NetSuite is comprehensive audit trail where it's keeping track of exactly who's doing what, who's created this order, what was the old value, what was the new value, what was the items. Complete audit trail is available under audit trail system notes, and you can run reports off of that. What I would like to do is convert that estimate once the customer comes back into a sales order right from the estimate. Again, one thing to note, real-time information is great. At the same time, you're not redundant data entry. The same data is moving from one place to another, right? This kind of helps having all functional areas in one system. So here I have the sales order of the customer. The data is all good. The items are good. Now, as a controller, it moves from, operations and sales. You have an opportunity to decide. Now, the sales rep can choose, hey, the terms are, 30 days upfront or 100% upfront. It's up to them based on the sales process. But, again, you always have the ability to, have control, internal controls on who, defines or agrees for the billing schedule. And NetSuite is really powerful, especially for software companies where you can have billing one way and then RevRec in another way. I won't spend too much time there. But, you define in a workflow process what that billing schedule is. And, of course, and that makes and comprehensively creates a sales order for you. And now you have an option of approving the sales order, using the workflow. As you have seen, on the sales tab, sales orders to approve is one of the reminders. You click on it, you go to the list of all sales orders, and you'll see that, hey, I have to approve this sales order. For demo purposes, I'm just approving it. I'm playing the role of a sales rep, operations, controller. And now I've approved the sales order. Now it says pending billing. I'm able to, bill this order, by just pushing a button and, depending on the billing schedules you have, and I'm able to generate the invoice. The only time I've entered data is once in an opportunity, right? And because it's comprehensively integrated and continuously flows through, you're able to take advantage of NetSuite, CRM to ERP. And what you're doing is you're basically going ahead and saving this invoice. And again, like I said, if there are any, mandatory fields, they're all marked in stars. And, the system will validate respective, mandatory fields to be filled in. Bottom line, once the invoice is created, you will see the GL impact, which is nothing but, account receivables. You're, recognizing revenue for software and subscription for $200,000, and then you're deferring for maintenance because that's something which has a RevRec template, and you can automate the revenue recognition schedules in detail. Okay. So this GL impact, which you have seen into 4002, it matches up with this. So like I said, real time, you've seen that 4002 revenue software subscription license was affected with 200,000 with this invoice, 0632, right? So the CFO, as these transactions are going on, the CFO is looking at their dashboard, and now their numbers are updated, right? So when they drill down into revenue numbers, right, and they break it out by the subsidiary hierarchy and see the what you call the US West numbers, and within the US West numbers now you should be able to see that 200,000 invoice with 0632, which is completely available right there. Invoice 0632, 200,000, and you go directly into that invoice, and then they can backtrack, complete drill down, drill around. You can go to the order right from the invoice, go to the customer if you want it from that order, and then so on and so forth. So you have complete audit trail and drill down capability to the source transaction. Okay. So now that we have seen the we've got 8 more minutes, and in the next 3 minutes or 4 minutes, I want to spend time on consolidation. So you've seen income statement. I try to break it down by subsidiaries. You can break it down by departments too. Importantly, how is that possible? Ours is real-time consolidation, so every transaction gets posted, translated as per FASB 52, and gets uploaded to the top. It's based on 2 things. One is I go to the financial tab. One is the subsidiary structure. The structure we have seen in the first tab on our dashboard. You see that how it is set up: headquarters, Americas, and each subsidiary on there. It's very easy to create a subsidiary. Common chart of accounts is deployed, and then you're able to go ahead and use it. And of course, in addition to multi-subsidiary management and multi-currency management, NetSuite also has the ability to maintain multi-books or parallel books. So if you need any sort of reporting purposes, like statutory reporting or local GAAP or additional reporting currency, you can use multi-books functionality on top of multiple subsidiaries to achieve that. Okay. So with this subsidiary structure, and then with the consolidated exchange rate table, you're able to go ahead and get those real-time information. You have this, say, for example, if I look at UK rolling up to the top, you'll see UK to headquarters, the current rate is 1.5 for the period October 2011, average rate is 1.4, and historical is 1.4. And with these 2 pillars of subsidiary structure and consolidated exchange rate, you're able to generate an income statement, right, which we have seen now, quite a few times. But you're able to get this real-time consolidated income statement. There is no process. There's no GL entries need to be posted to kind of move it from one subsidiary to another. It is all real-time. So you're looking at rolled-up numbers real-time. At any point of time, you say, no, I want to look at it in a regional level. Let's say I want to look at it based on EMEA. You just change the context. Now you're looking at EMEA region. If you have the numbers in that period, I guess I don't have the numbers. Let's say this fiscal year, and then of course you're able to see those numbers in British pounds. Let me go ahead and change that and see some. That was not a good option there. So you want to go down to UK and change that perspective, and you're looking at those numbers in British pounds, right? So you can change perspective of the income statement immediately by just changing the subsidiary structure, and you'll be looking at those numbers in the local currencies, and you drill down, you get to the transaction detail, okay? Then finally, financial close, period close. We automate the process of period close. So you can go to the period close checklist. October 2011 is the last one open. You see, lock AR. You'll be locking all AR transactions. You can do it by one subsidiary or multiple subsidiaries. You can also do, revalue foreign currency balances. You can transact them, and you'll see that NetSuite automatically posts for you the unrealized gains account. What is the transaction spot rate? What is the ending exchange rate? And you have complete visibility on what is your unrealized gains and losses, and with receivables and payables, right? You mark the task as complete, and you go to the consolidated exchange rate table. You mark that task as complete. We have seen that. And then NetSuite automates the elimination process for you. You can automate the elimination for intercompany transactions. It gives you ability to post those to elimination sub. And once that task is complete, you go ahead and close the period, and you're done. So I think I have 4 more minutes. So I would leave that, I would open it up for questions.
So, Karthik, this is Anand. We are actually at the top of the hour almost, and that was really impressive. You covered a lot of ground in a short time, and thank you very much. And I'm not too sure whether we will have any time. I apologize that we didn't get to your questions to the audience, but assure you that someone from NetSuite will get back to you with a response soon. And I think we just have a couple of minutes left. And I actually wanted to thank everyone who took the time to attend the webinar today. And I hope this answered some of your questions about NetSuite's cloud-based business management solution and issues relating to Great Plains as your organizations grow. I also want to thank our panelist, Kevin Harding of Imagine, for sharing his experience and providing valuable insights. And thanks, Karthik, for a compelling demo of NetSuite. And that's it, folks. And thank you, and have a great day.